My boyfriend gets upset when I ask him to get off the computer to spend time with me. I'm not sure what steps to take after this conversation. It's a constant problem. So my boyfriend and I have been together for almost 4 years, living together for 2. He's always had a thing for his computer and games since we met, and honestly I never had a problem with it at first. He usually spends majority of his free time on his computer, aside from work, house chores etc., but it's starting to bother me that he doesn't spend nearly as much time with me and our relationship as he does with his computer. I understand we all need our own time and space, and by no means is he not a caring, loving boyfriend when the time comes, but it makes me feel like I am in a fight to have his attention and time. We've talked about it, and I've told him it already wasn't normal to spend more time on the computer than with his girlfriend, but he said I was being inconsiderate. I told him the bare minimum should be 50-50th time, and me accepting anything less than that was already considerate enough. I told him it's one thing to already spend more time on the computer than with me, but to also have the audacity to complain about the little bit of spending time with me was ridiculous. I want to cuddle and chill or do things together, even trying to play games together, and it never seems to be enough. We constantly argue about this, and this seems to be one of the biggest issues in our relationship. I just need some advice, or maybe just need to know if this is a deal breaker. Should I call it or give it another chance with a different approach? I don't want him to completely get rid of the computer, as I want him to be happy, but I also want to be happy too. I want to spend more time with my boyfriend. All he wants is to play on his computer. Now for the top comments. The best thing for you to do is legitimately put leaving him on the table. First, it's what you need to do to be happy long term. You aren't happy right now, and you've done everything you can to communicate how you feel and your expectations of him that will make you happy, and he doesn't want to fix it. Yes, leaving him will hurt and be tough, but your choices are staying with him, and being unhappy long term, or being unhappy in the short term and finding what you want need to be happy long term. Second, really putting leaving on the table for you will show him that you're not around. It will change the dynamic from you begging for his attention to you starting to make plans to be happy without him. I'm not saying cheat on him, or give him an ultimatum, just stop trying to get him to do something that he doesn't want to do and start doing things that make you happy. Go out with friends, talk to your friends about their relationship dynamics, think about the steps you need to take to leave your BF and get your ducks in a row. It sounds like you're not ready to pull the plug, and that's fine. If he still doesn't get the message, you pull the plug when you are ready. He might get the message and decide that he doesn't want to lose you and start making an effort, but don't just assume that the problem is fixed at that point, or he'll just slowly slide back to not spending time with you. When that happens, be honest that you thought the relationship was coming to an end, and that you haven't been happy for a while, and that he didn't seem to care. I'm not saying you rip him down, but if he starts getting it and wants to work on it, he needs to know how far gone things have gotten for you. Next comment. You should tell him that you are not interested in being paid attention to at his discretion, and only after he's done playing on the computer. You are letting yourself be walked on, and have in some ways accepted a lower position in his priority list than his games. It's perfectly fine if he wants to game all the time, but that's not a balanced way of living, and it's totally unfair to you. He needs to understand that his choices have repercussion and consequences. One of those being that you won't just be waiting in the background for a sliver of his time. You may not need to break up with him outright, but you definitely need to open his eyes a bit. Try making plans with your friends without checking with him. Go have fun. Be busy. Do your own thing and don't be available to him whenever he wants. If he wants to spend time with you, it will have to be when you are free and not after he's done gaming. If he complains, you can just point to his gaming and say, now you have a little bit of an understanding of what you've been doing to me and what you expect me to put up with. If he doesn't want to compromise at that point, then you should walk. Next comment. I'm going through this with my boyfriend of 4 years. When we started dating, he said he played games a couple days a week and would say how happy he was he didn't play well like he did in high school because of how much time he spent playing it, and then when we moved in together I realized it was more like 5 days a week. Once COV hit, he got back on WoW, and it's been 7 days a week ever since, and he says it's completely normal for guys, and I simply need to get used to it. Sorry, but after trying everything from focusing more on myself and spending time on hobbies and with friends, I'm starting to realize his behavior isn't going to change. If the guy doesn't think he spends too much time on the computer and doesn't seem interested in spending more time with you, he's not going to change. Next comment. I was in a relationship with a guy who loved computer games. I didn't have a problem with it at first because I am also a very huge PC gamer. We lived together and a majority of the time we spent together would be through Discord. I loved him so much, I wanted more. I wanted him to watch movies with me, eat dinners with me, go grocery shopping with me, etc. But he hated those things. It took time away from his computer. He made it seem like a chore. Anyways, I realized that being on the PC and being gamers were both lifestyles for us. But because I was willing to lose time gaming to spend time with him, and he was not, I ended up calling for a breakup. I asked him for more, he wasn't willing to give it to me. However, now in meeting new people, I find myself in my ex's position. I have a hard time giving up gaming to spend time with the persons I am seeing. I am not sure if it's because I don't love them, and don't see sacrificing my gaming time for them as an option yet, but I am realizing gaming and being on my PC is my lifestyle. I am grateful for those who understand it and are willing to work with me because of it, and those who do not understand it, I completely respect their opinions and don't hold a grudge against them, but those relationships, friendly or romantic, did not last. Next comment. I'm in a similar situation to you, except that I'm 9 months pregnant. We go to couples therapy, not because of this issue but because I wanted to learn how to better communicate with him as parents, and when I brought this up to the counselor, her response to him was, when she asks you to go to bed, you stop playing and go to bed, but her reasons were, I need rest because we have a baby on the way. Since that session, that was only a week ago. He hasn't come to bed when I've asked. Once, I didn't remind him of the session because I thought best I just let it go. I agree with people saying he needs to want to change, but to threaten to leave him for it I feel is quite serious. Instead of coming to a middle group, trying to talk to him about it more than once without it seeming like an attack on him, or something that he clearly really enjoys doing. I find it easier for my partner to spend time with me, do chores, and whatever else he needs to do than getting onto the games helps us. Making his games the end goal. Maybe we don't spend a lot of time together, and he might spend 7 hours of his afternoon late night on them, but emotionally my cup is full enough that I'm content with him doing so. While he's playing between games I remind him that I'm there and miss him, and need attention. He will take a few moments to get up, come over, give me a kiss and get me a drink. Maybe trying to ask for things like that? I don't know if you would be willing, but trying to play those games with him. Be a part of that world he likes so much. For me it's easy because I actually met my partner online, through video games, so I am also interested in games, just not since being pregnant. That's a whole other ball game, unfortunately, haha. Sorry, my response seems to talk about myself, but I'm just trying to help. I don't think you need to leave him for playing games. You obviously love him, and he you. Have you considered that he might also be depressed? Oftentimes men engross themselves into online games in general, when they're trying to escape from something. Is it possible he's more stressed, has work pressure? Something like that? Only reason I say this is because of his reaction to you asking for more of his attention. Gaming sounds like his outlet, his place to distress, and by asking him, or him feeling attacked about his safe place, he might not realize his stress or anxiety about life and projecting it as a result when you attack him about the gaming. I really hope you come to some sort of middle ground. Try thinking of other ways to approach it rather than asking him to 50-50ths, but yet what exactly you want from him. Can we do, for example, a movie date and cook dinner together, then you hop onto your games? Try making it about what exactly you expect from him rather than him not playing games, because this is clearly something he enjoys, and imagine someone not asking you to do something you enjoy less. Without exact expectations? Hopefully, I haven't made too many spelling grammar errors, and this makes sense, haha. Next comment. Those are just some random examples, my dude. When you live with someone you usually see a lot of them during the day-to-day. And yes, possibly. It sounds like this is something they've argued about extensively, and like he is simply not interested in spending that time with her. It's not like if they argue enough, he'll magically realize he was wrong. At this point in a relationship, I'd probably want to start considering if there's anything I can do on my end to make him actually want to hang out. If they're constantly arguing, he might be getting anxiety about leaving his computer room to talk to her or something, also pure speculation. My point is to focus on what you can do to make it a good relationship for your partner, and if you lean into the relationship in the best way you can, and he does not, then you know. But simple gestures that change the dynamic from tense to playful are very underrated, Imo. I dunno. I don't know any of this. It's 100% speculation because we have pretty limited information. Maybe she's already done all the leaning in, and he's just awful, and has an addiction, and no amount of being there for him would change that. Maybe it's the opposite, and she's here dragging him on the internets, because she doesn't want to admit to herself that she spends all day yelling at him. Either way, I'm not here to judge, just dropping another opinion in the pot.